And I think it's time for a discussion. Why you so hard? Show me that you love me, baby. Why you so hard? Show me that you care. So many days, so many nights, so many tears. I had to cry. Told me you love me. That was a lie. Loving you was a mistake. 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 Play me like guitar, baby. You only love me for breathing. Play with my emotion, girl. And I don't wanna be your friend. Play me like guitar, baby. Love I have for you was real, yeah. While you're playing with my heart, babe. Let me tell you how I feel, baby. So many days, so many nights, so many tears. I had to cry. Told me you love me. That was a lie. Loving you was a mistake. Loving you was a mistake. Loving you was a mistake.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Chatterbox with King Jacob. I'm your host, King Jacob, and we have another Star Study episode with a special guest. And so, thank you guys for tuning in, and welcome to those motivational Mondays, mindful Mondays, and those money-making Mondays. And so, we're here again. And so, I have a special guest, and I'll let her properly introduce herself. You have the floor.
Thank you so much for having me over. It's really a great privilege. And I started my career as a motivational speaker, and over the period of time, then I went to television and radio and authored few books, and then I got into fashion because I believe that I can present my views in a very different way. So I took help of fashion and movies, and that's how I became a event manager for fashion events. I have done it in India. Now I'm planning to do one in US. Then I came up with a magazine that promotes fashion plus your views about depression and how to come out of challenges and how we can live in victory.
Okay, okay. So, you are originally from India?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
born.
Okay, great, great, great. So you said that you was a motivational speaker first, correct?
Yes.
And so what type of motivational speaking, did you do and how did you get into motivational speaking?
So I'm a suicide survivor. So I went into depression and I jumped into a well to commit suicide and I did die. So when I survived, I decided to help others. So that's where I landed in the career of a motivational speaker. It all started as just helping people. Then I took it professionally, and because I believe that people struggle to let go of past, and those things can actually hinder them to be somebody in their future. So I started to help people genuinely. Then I was a paid counselor and all that thing took place.
Okay, so you're a suicide survivor and
Yeah.
you know, I hear a lot of, suicide prevention and things, read a lot of articles and stuff like that. And so how how do someone help somebody that's contemplating or thinking about committing suicide? What are those what are those signs that that you can help a loved one or you can help a friend?
Right. Actually, this series of fashion shows that I'm doing, it's known as Pause for a Cause. I believe that if you can just pause for the individual in front of you and listen to them, you can actually save them from that bad moment of trying to take their lives. Sometimes people just want to be heard, and people do not die because of the pain, but because they want to end the pain, because they don't know how to come out of it, and they forget the sight that one day it may just get over. They want to end the pain, so they commit suicide. So if we can just pause and listen to the people around us, listen to the lines between the lines, then we can actually evade a situation where people kill themselves.
Okay, okay, okay. And so, a lot of that suicide is caused by a whole lot of depression, anxiety, and other things as well. And so, upon somebody going through, levels of depression, you know, um, what are some of those signs where you can kind of really help the person, because they think nobody understands them. And so, with somebody being kind and encouraging and just trying to help them, how do a person who never seen it or never experienced it kind of wrap their mind around it? Like, what should they be doing to really help that person? Is that something that you can talk with us about?
So actually the best thing is the family, because people are becoming very busy for each other. If the first help can come from the family, if we don't have anybody to talk to in our family, in our friend circle, we can go to a counselor. There is nothing wrong in going to a counselor. I suggest people that if you are going through the same mindset for 2 weeks in a constant row, like in a row that you are not able to stop crying, not able to sleep, and it has become like the third week of the same situation, you must see a counselor. So I suggest my followers that they must have at least five friends who can appreciate them because of who they are, cherish them, correct them if they are going wrong. If we have at least five friends in our life, it's very important. If we can have at least five friends in our life, we will never have depression.
Okay, 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 okay. Very important. Very, something that everybody should know. And
Yeah.
so, upon you, coming out of suicide and surviving it, what are some of the workshops and the conferences and the motivation speaking that you did? Was it to the youth? Was it to young adults, or was it to just everybody?
So, to the public, I have spoken more than maybe 3,000 times by now. But I love to talk to people on one. Maybe I must have spoken to thousands of people in last 20 years. And I love to talk to people on one, because sometimes when it's a crowd, people want to put on a mask. They want to hide behind the public, if it is a public place. So it's wonderful to talk to people on one, because that's where after a few minutes or an hour that you have talking to them, they actually can come up with what is inside. And over the 20 years, I have noticed that the basic requirement of the human heart is to be loved and somebody to hear them. So by me just listening to them with love has helped maybe thousands of people. And that's where I came up with the books, because sometimes books, TV, and radio are able to reach to people that I cannot reach personally. Otherwise, I have done so many public events. It's more than 3,000 times I must have spoken to people.
So you spoke to people 3,000 times. Wow, that's amazing.
Not
That,
one in one day. It's over 20 years.
but still, that's amazing over a 20-year period. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Three thousand different, 3,000 bookings in a 20-year period. That's fabulous. That's amazing. And so, tell me about some of your books that you published and that you've written.
So they are mostly based on forgiveness because I think this is a biggest blocker, blessing blocker, I call it, because forgiveness is such a thing that if you're unforgiving, let me put it that way, if you're unforgiving, then it's like you take the poison in your own mouth and wait for the other person to die.
Mm,
So most of the books are on forgiveness. They are on how to deal with rejection, because rejection is another thing that makes us to go into a mode where we want to point. And when we try to prove a point to somebody in the world that we actually hardly care, we ruin ourselves. So pride many times comes because of what we possess and what we don't possess, like the rejection. The rejection makes us to be, and basically these are self-help books, like how to manage money. Only when we give we receive, because most of the time we want to take and we take, so we lose the favor of people. I believe that I consider myself very rich because my team is, I think, responsible for my success. My team actually makes me successful. So how to give to receive, because I have to give first to create and build these people. Then I'm receiving favor. So there are some practical points I love to talk and share even through the books.
okay. So, upon you writing your first book, what was your emotion? Your how was your mentality like as far as you going through a mental health crisis and then being able to write a book on forgiveness because you had already forgiven yourself so you can share this with others. So what type of headspace was you in upon writing the book?
Yeah. So how I felt when I wrote the book.
Yes.
So when I learned about forgiveness and how scientifically it is connected to our health, I realized that unforgiveness causes a lot of sickness. So I had to choose to forgive people. It was not a natural feeling. Naturally, you may not want to forgive people who have done harm to you. You actually want to keep the grudge. But I think it actually delivered me when I tried to help others. I delivered me more and more. So I think I felt really writing this down so that other people can understand and read. So there is a scientific fact about 70 times 7. Why in Bible, if you see that, why Jesus said forgive people 70 times 7, because 70 time is the time a child learns something new, and 7 time is the adult something learns something new. So that is why if you put things together, it's a practice of forgiveness. You have to practice forgiving, and it comes little late after little practice. So that was my revelation, that I wanted to put it together in a book form.
Okay, great. So we have a few people on. I like to say hello to the Village Global Network. Hello to the operational director of the Village Global Network, Kimmy K. And I'd like to say hello to Billy Mack, from a country singer and songwriter from Pennsylvania, that's tuning in with us. Thank you guys for tuning in. Now, we're going to talk about the Freedom Fashion Magazine. And how did you get started with that? And what kind of led you to want to put out a media publication, where you include fashion, mental health, and all the above?
So, out of all the years of experience that I was talking to people about coming together, like come out of your situation, I decided that let me take my voice to the people who are in high class society, those who are in India, and those people who would otherwise not listen to me, how do I take my message to them? So I came up with this idea. I was already working for suicide prevention. So I named it Freedom. I call the program Freedom because that's where I call the lawyers, doctors, pilots, all the people who are professionals. They walk the ramp for me. And I called a team of people to discuss how suicide is so much, especially in Japan and India and many places in all over the world right now, how people are struggling inside. If we pause for that cause of listening to someone, how we can help people. That's where uh, our fashion show was based on freedom, freedom from suicide, and how we can prevent it. And that's where I thought, let's do the magazine, because magazine will keep on going after even the event is over. So that's where we came up with the magazine.
Okay, so let's talk about some of your articles and some of the people that you've written articles about, like some of the doctors, the lawyers, the actors, the actresses, the models, and just people that's into community development. So, what was your first article that you ever wrote for the magazine?
Magazine, we cover few people, especially I'll take just one example. One supermodel we have in India who lost his family members, and he became a vegetable for many months on the bed, and he went into severe depression, and he bounced back at the age of 58, and now he's one of the top model, and he is impacting so many lives with his own story of overcoming depression. And he's also a very high paid model. He walked the ramp for me for 2 years now, and his article is my favorite in the magazine, and so many others.
Okay, okay. So we also have tapping in Tracy Palmore, Crisis Bryant, Ken Etheridge, and Corey Daniels, all from South Carolina, and my man Clarence Gillum from Greenville, South Carolina. So all my people from South Carolina is checking in. I appreciate y'all checking in with us and tapping in with us. So upon you doing your first runway show, um, what was the process of you putting that together? And the runway show was geared towards helping people that go through depression, anxiety, suicide, so on and so forth. And so, what was the process of you grabbing the models, making the presentation, the interior designs, and involving the community to impact people that really need somewhere to go, needs a cause, and knowing that people care. So, how was that so impactful for you to involve everybody?
So there are two kinds of models I had: the people from my own community, the people who know me. For I wanted to give them opportunity to walk the ramp, so we had a category of lay people. Those who were not trained models, we groomed them and they walked the ramp. That was one for one designer. And then another designer, we actually did auditions. We had like proper tests for them, and we saw them how they walk, and we shortlisted by Facebook ad and Instagram ad, and we told them properly that this is going to be for a cause. So many high profile models and Mrs. India, International, and Mrs. Goa, Mrs. Delhi, they all walked the ramp for me for free. They didn't charge me. Very high profile models walked for me for free, and few people I had to pay. Those were professional. Otherwise, I opened the stage for everybody who wanted to come, and I have one important experience through that. That the very healthy model that I allowed to walk the ramp for me became Mrs. Plus Size the same year. So that platform boosted her confidence that she can go ahead and Mrs. become Mrs. Plus Size. So I have so many testimonies coming out of all those efforts. So I'm very delighted how we actually started all this. Now I have an event company. I have almost 30 people in this team as volunteers, and some on pay package who are working for these events.
Okay. And so with the event of the models and things of that nature, so once you did the first event, what was the response after the event? How did people connect with you after the event and at the event and after the event? Because there's an after effect when your event is great, when it's nice, and
Yes,
and when it gives people a sense of urgency to feel good about themselves. And
yes.
so, what was those conversations like for you after the event?
If I go back 3 years before when I did my first event, the people that I gave opportunity, they were so delighted. They came back to thank me for making their dream to come to pass. I also launched few new designers who would otherwise not get launched in a very big platform like mine. So many models came back to say thanks to me for giving them platform and putting them on pedestal for promotion, and many designers were thankful. So my team enjoyed working with them, and we could actually promote love that this industry is very dark, modeling and fashion, and where there is a lot of manipulation is involved to get the stage. So I wanted to give a very secure environment for the models and the designers and everybody who were involved. So we have great experience through all the event, and the first one was good. I looked back and I could see that, oh my god, I did it. It was that kind of feeling.
Right. And so, would you merge in your event planning company together and your magazine for your magazine publications? Um, how often does the publication come out to the public?
So right now the US version, we are trying to bring out at least 4 magazines in a year, and mostly we will try to make it available digitally so that it can go all over the world. And also we will have print edition whenever there is a fashion show. We will give the print edition. So I'm
Okay.
planning one in July, and in August we have it in India. Everybody who's listening, they can come and attend the program on 15th.
15th of August. Okay. So, with that being said, you did mention when it comes to suicide prevention, India and Japan. Um, so, what would you say as far as India and Japan? You know, the reason the number is so high in those places when it comes to suicide.
Mm,
'Cause-
yes, I would suggest that what I feel is Asian culture is a culture when you don't speak what you feel, and we are programmed to hide our feelings. We did not have a system for counseling. Nowadays, the schools have. Earlier, like when I was a kid, we were just trained to suppress the feelings. So I believe that Japan is a place where feelings are suppressed, and if you get into depression, you just go into a room and you live a life totally alone till the time you come out of depression. But that's not the way it should be. If you're
Mhm.
depressed, you have to go out and talk, because talking helps us to come out of depression. So that's why maybe Asian countries are very prone to suicide, because somewhere we feel that nobody's going to understand us anyway, so let's just die.
Oh wow. That's really deep. That's really deep. That growing up over there, you couldn't talk about it, and you just had to get through it yourself. And a lot of times that's something that you can't get through all by yourself. So that's wow. That's deep. So I understand that you're into radio as well, and you're into filmmaking too. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about your radio experience and how did you get into radio?
Radio, actually, I felt in my heart that many people would not, I may not reach to many people if I do not use the media, because they may not come to me for counseling, or I may not meet them. They may be some part of the world somewhere. But if I can get into the media, I can have a voice to reach to them. So I call my program as Victorious Living, both on radio and TV, because I want to really teach people to live victorious. I believe that when we are born with the potential, and it's just matter of time that we understand the vision and purpose of our life, and as we discover it, we actually can live in victory and live in our full potential. That's how the TV radio started. And then another thing I understood during the lockdown, that most of the world is on social media and on platforms like Netflix and Amazon, and they just watch movies all the time. It was a record number. 70% of the world was watching movies. So during 2020, I launched into filmmaking.
Oh, okay, okay. And you know, as far as radio, you interview guests on the radio, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so what are some of the impactful guests and influential guests that you've interviewed on the radio?
I take usually those people who have overcome something, some kind of challenge they have overcome and have done something in life. It can be any challenge. Some people have a challenge with addiction. Some people were attacked sexually, or something that they have overcome. I take those people in the show, and I want to tell the world through that interview that you can actually overcome whatever you might have gone through, and you can become successful yet again.
Okay, okay, okay. That's great. That's great. And I do have a question for you. Since you always impact the community with your community development, and when it comes to anxiety, depression, and whatever people may go through, any type of form of PTSD. And so, from your professional opinion, with like working with suicide prevention centers and stuff like that, why do you think that our younger generation have so much depression nowadays?
Number one, the families. Families are important. Your parents are the best people to talk to, but many times the gap is reason that children talk to the parents. They feel that our parents are from a different generation, so they want to. So they turn to friends, which is very good if we get the right friends. But most of the time, they turn to wrong friends, and that wrong company corrupts the good people. So that is why the pressure is increasing. Another reason the social media is so good, if we really want to use it for encouragement and motivation. Like today, I'm online because of the technology. You are in a different place, I'm in a different place, but we are able to connect to the world because of the technology. But the very technology is taking a lot of time from children and teenagers, and it's making them come under pressure because all we see is everybody's happy, they're achieving, and I'm not doing enough. And the generation has got into a place where they're comparing themselves from others, that they are not good looking, their careers are not good, and all those things. This constant comparison with others, I think, is really disturbing the coming generation. So I would suggest and advise all the young people who would listen to us that use the technology for your advantage. Use the technology to use it as a motivation and not come under pressure because of the technology.
Okay, so do you believe, or do you think that a lot of the youth go through anxiety and depression because of the educational system, the school system, and things that they may face like bullying, or they may have some type of learning disability, and they feel like a teacher may push them to the side and not spend enough time with them? Do you think that that is a factor on why the youth may be depressed nowadays?
Yes, possibly. I don't know about the schooling system, but most of the time, I would really recommend people to talk about their struggle to someone, and teachers should be very, very supportive. And I really don't like bullying in the schools. My children have suffered. it's a very bad practice. We should really learn to love each other. And why we want to put somebody down, to prove what point? So I really don't understand why people bully, and what is that they're trying to prove by doing that. I really don't agree with it. Bullying is one thing that is really putting people under children under pressure. And I believe that all the teachers are so trained and qualified. So if they do not get into the pressure and take patience to deal with the children, it'll be really wonderful. My children are in a very good school. The teachers are very supportive, and they have counselors assigned to them if they have challenge. So I think that's a wonderful system. But I believe usually dealing with children, you'll need a lot of patience. So if they don't use that patience, it may actually damage the children.
Right. And so with with that being said, I know I read articles and I see things on the news and see things on social media about children that get bullied, and it weighs on them so bad with depression, anxiety, and they feel like they're not loved. And some of these children have ended up committing suicide because somebody bullied them so bad, and not just only in-person bullying, but now you have this internet, the cyber bullying. And so I just think that when it comes to that right there, and when it comes to something affecting a child's mental capacity, then parenting, counseling, you know, um, even mentors in the community, I think they all should come and step in as one, because I didn't realize bullying had got so bad, within the school system and on the internet. What I mean, because kids kids go through a lot of anxiety and depression nowadays. I can't remember us going through anything like that. I can remember all us getting along, because our parents knew one another, our grandparents knew one another, so everybody
Right,
kind of came from the same network, or the same communities. You know what I mean? So,
right.
but nowadays it's different. And do you think that technology interrupts a child's life when it comes to learning and understanding the value of life?
Of course, it is affecting, and I have seen it in my children also. See the reels and the Instagram and the YouTube reels. We scroll through very fast. Have you noticed that? And that is actually taking away our patience. Now it is hard for us to listen longer or talk longer with people. Our attention span is decreasing. So in our days, we had little more attention span, which I see the younger generation doesn't have. So they snap very fast, and they don't want to listen to the even to the full conversation. I have to literally tell my children that sit and listen to me. Give me time. Like because of the media, I think the attention span is going down. They know way more than that I knew in my generation. Like I'm just talking about my kids. They know so much. I didn't know those things in my generation, but that information is not always very helpful.
Right,
So it is just a lot of pressure on them. I feel sorry for them.
right. And these kids acquire a lot of data right now.
Yes.
Through YouTube, through Google, or just through all the social media outlets, and they acquire so much data, and sometimes I think that's all they even have to think about is what they acquire from online. As far as I can remember, in the summertime when there was no school, my grandmother had us reading books. And the first book I learned how to read was the Bible. So and a lot of times nowadays, a lot of kids, they don't read enough. They only read when they have to. But they always said reading is fundamental. And
Yeah.
and you can kind of tell the kids that's got that practice from home when it comes to parents making them read and stuff, because you can tell how they excel in school, and you can tell how they conversate. You know what I
Right.
mean? They conversate more on an intellectual level, and so I just think that really needs to be enforced. By the parents, and I think something that they do have in school now that we didn't have. These kids know a lot about financial literacy nowadays. They know a lot about economics. They know a lot about the political bills and stuff. Something that we didn't really know about when I was growing up, and so I think it can be a tip for tap. But you got kids that's on the Forex, app, and these kids is 15 to 16 years old making $7,000, $8,000 a month. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do these kids know these stocks like that? But it's right at their feet, through YouTube practices, to Google. They even have the demo version where they can practice.
Yeah.
So we had nothing like that. So it's a whole lot of advancement within technology, but I just think that with technology, there should be a certain amount of time that a child can use technology per day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some kids be on the technology all day long. So sometimes they got to give their mind a break to breathe and to rest a little bit. So
Right, right. I feel that we have to really tell them to read, and even people in their early 30s, they struggle to read. I have seen in my counseling that if you give them homework to read and come back, they struggle to read somehow, because of the social media. Everything is so audiovisual these days. So to pick up a book and read is a struggle for people. And I believe that the readers are the leaders. If you want to lead, you must. I always tell my followers that you must pick up a book and read, or you read on Kindle or maybe audio, other, books, textbooks online. But you must read. Reading is such a good habit because it causes your mind to think, pauses you, it takes you to a place of analyzing things. And a lot of youngsters are making money through social media these days. My son taught me how to invest, and you are absolutely right that the generation knows about money management better than our generation. Like, they know to make money. They are very, very knowledgeable these days.
they are phenomenal kids when it comes to book sense, but we have to match that and teach them that common sense and book sense goes together.
Yeah,
Because you can have all the book sense in the world, but you have to flourish in society, and that's going to
yeah,
take common sense. And
right,
so we got to match those two energies together.
right.
So, and you are a filmmaker, so tell me about how you got into filmmaking.
So, one of my friends suggested that you have gone through a lot in life. So, why don't you pen it together, pen down all the details, and make a script and send it to either Hollywood or in Bollywood in my country. So, I started writing my own biography. So, when I finished writing, I wanted to, give it to a producer director who can help me do the movie. And my friend had suggested that why don't you just sell your story after you write it? But after putting things together, I didn't feel like selling it. I said, why not me try to do my biopic? So that's where I Las Vegas those days, and I spoke to one of my friend, and she offered. She's a producer director. She was making short films, and she offered to help me to produce the biopic. So I helped in the screenplay, I helped in the setup, I helped in the behind the scene. So when I was doing that film in Las Vegas, that's where I fell in love with production. I felt that producer is a very powerful person. You actually can tell your stories through the media. So that's where I went ahead and registered. The company that is known as Air Rising Eagle Production. It is registered both in US and in India.
Oh, so you are in the United States and India,
Yes.
and so what is that like? Being in your own country and being in the United States and having people from different walks of life to read scripts together, to come on the big screen together. Like, how does that process work for you?
So, I'm a very people person. I love to work with people. So,
Hmm.
every country has a different beauty to it. In my country, we are very hospitable. We go out of our way to help people, and good and bad both available in every country. So,
Hmm.
there are some beautiful things about India. We are culturally very strong. We stand for each other. We do not leave our brother when they are in need, and all those things. Here in America, people are very punctual. They arrive on time, they keep their commitment, and they are pretty formal. Like they would want all the paperwork to be done properly, and everything little different, but it's very enjoyable at the same time. So every country has its own beauty, and that is enhancing my brain in my people skill when I work with all kinds of people.
Okay, okay. So tell me about this biopic of yours, and tell me about the process of the script writing, and once you see it all come together, how did it make you feel? Because this story is about you. It's about your life. It's about what you've been through and what you overcame. So,
Yes.
so tell me how you got started with that.
You know, when I was writing, most of the time I was crying because I had to revisit everything that happened to me to put it together. When we were filming, I was crying because I would remember the bad things, but I believe the day we wrapped the set, I felt so delivered. I remember crying the whole night before the last day of shooting, filming, and I really felt very good after doing it. Yeah, and I believe that that really helped me. I know it'll help everybody who will watch, but then uh, I liked it, and that movie went ahead and went to Cannes Film Festival. It is going doing round with all film festivals. My producer director friend, she's taking it everywhere. But it went to Cannes, didn't win any prize, but it went.
That's great. That's great. That's great. And so let's talk about the casting call. And how did you put the casting call together? And how did the casting call go?
So we had help about all these things because I was totally new. We took help of other casting directors. We took help of the friend who was director of photography. I had all kinds of friends to help me in all departments. Even now, the one that I am doing right now, that is known as The Path. It's about a story of gangsters deciding wrong things in life, and I give a presentation, a movie presentation to the people that if you decide right, you actually can have a right destiny. So for that as well, casting call is always done by one quick way I do is by Facebook. My team does, but also I hire casting directors.
Okay, okay, okay. So did you guys do all in person casting calls, or did you have a table reading as well?
We I interviewed personally. They have several rounds of interviews, and final comes to me. I want to feel good about the person I'm hiring or taking on board because I want them to actually enjoy the experience of filming with me. And it should be a very transforming experience for them as well. So I get through the process. I stay in the process when they're doing it, and I wait for my inner voice to support me that okay, this is the guy. And many times it happened that for one character I have taken months to select because the person that is in my mind, I'm not able to find that person anywhere. And then some suddenly I meet somebody and I just know that that's the character that I was looking for.
Okay, 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 okay. So you've been quite the busy individual. You do some of everything. With the mental health, with the fashion, the modeling, community development, radio, and film, of course. And so, as far as your film, what would you say was the most influential part of the film? The part that you was like, oh my, I just had to revisit this, and you had to revisit it. It's your life. You had to write about it, and you had to find somebody to take on that character that can bring it to life. And so how was that process for you seeing that character come to life?
Yes. Very surprisingly, person from Las Vegas who played the my character, and I remember she crying on the set when she was doing my part. And when we finished that day, the same day, it was much before the rap, and she said that thank you for telling us the story. When I was playing the role, I actually feel what I felt it, what you went through. And she was in tears when she was telling me this. So that was one memorable time during the filming. So,
Okay, okay, okay. And Mr. Tracy Patmore says, are you doing any castings in the U.S.?
yes, the film that is coming up, which is a 110 minutes film, and it's going to be totally filmed in Vegas.
Okay, okay. And so that would be in Las Vegas, Nevada?
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. And that's what, April? Or what, August, excuse me?
No, that will be in September.
September. Oh,
Yeah,
so
at
so
the
your
end of
so,
September. Still
so
in
your
pre.
so your fashion show is in August, correct?
Yeah, so I'll come back.
Okay, okay. So you got something coming back to back, August and September. Okay,
Yeah.
great, great, great. And so do you still do a lot of motivational speaking these days or no?
I do. I do. I always have somebody that I'm talking to. I always have some program going on, and that was my prayer when I actually survived a second time. I passed out actually. I died for a couple of seconds, and when I came back to life, I was shocked that one day everything is going to get over, and that is why I keep myself busy. So I do not want even one day to pass by without me doing anything, because I believe that life is just once, and the moment it's over, we cannot do anything else after that. So if we are breathing, we can always do something.
Okay, okay, okay. And so for the future and for all that you have going on, for all that you've done, and for all that you will accomplish in the future, what is the message that you would want to say to somebody that's maybe going through depression, anxiety, contemplating suicide, or somebody who's facing PTSD? What would be that message that you want to give to them?
Yeah, PTSD is a different thing, so I'll address it later. For somebody who's going through anxiety, depression, I want to tell you that you are extremely talented. You are not able to put your energy, talent at the right place, because the moment you will start achieving, the moment you will start seeing the dreams come to pass, small ones and big ones, you will actually enjoy your life. You're extremely talented. I'm talking to the person who's going through anxiety, depression, or you're feeling low about your life, about your failures. I want to tell you that you are an amazingly talented person. All you have to do is channelize your energy to the right place. First thing. Second thing, have the right kind of people around you, because if you do not have the right kind of people and better kind of people, better than you are not going to grow in life. So choose your close friends very carefully. Who are you letting to speak into your life? Like the friends must be more successful than you. People should be around you whom you can learn from. You must have some kind of people around you. Find those people with prayer, and you with keep your eyes open. Be friends with people whom you can learn from, because if you're the best in your team, then your group is not that great. You have to be in a group that everybody apart from you are more successful than you. That is one thing that will bring you out of anxiety, and depression is your achievement. You have to start achieving small and big things and
All right, live from Las Vegas. Um, she's from India, but living in Vegas now, and you know, she's a suicide survivor. She's a film director. She owns a magazine called Freedom Fashion Magazine, where the magazine is geared toward the worthy cause: suicide prevention, anxiety, depression, PTSD, postpartum depression. So, she does a lot, and I'm grateful to have her on the show as a special guest tonight. And we just talking about what needs to be talked about, something of importance. We'll take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
I'm tired of lying, and it's getting plain to see. I done tried hard to deny, but this woman changing me. Might go to the clubs, but I leave kinda early, and I don't drink and drive, but chug and jive, so my woman ain't gotta worry. No, no. See, I can't be playing with her heart or playing with her mind. We ain't getting no younger, can't play with my time. And I know she miss me and can't wait to kiss me. So I might be invited tonight. You ain't gotta look for me. I might be invited tonight. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, man, you tapped in with the Chatter Box with King Jacob, live now in 191 countries, powered by the Village Global Network. And we are with Zeno FM with additional online monitoring by online radio box. And you can catch us on the VGN app. Download it at your Play Store, whether you have Android or Google. And this is the end of the show. And peace, blessings, and most of all, stay safe.